Hey guys, this is Hector from the Insert Name FC podcast, here to tell you guys about Canadips. It is a great tasting, superior alternative to traditional dip using CBD in a way that is radical, enjoyable, and effective. It comes in 5 core flavors: wintergreen, mint, citrus, mango, and American spice. Canadips CBD is the new evolution in dip, allowing guys to enjoy great, long-lasting taste without the downsides. If you guys want to go ahead and try them out, use the code BELLYUP20 at CanadipsCBD.com. Once again, BELLYUP20 at CanadipsCBD.com, and you'll get yourself 20% off your purchase. Thank you again for Canadips for being a great partner of Belly Up Sports.
Champions League. And we'll start things off with the semifinals, and we're going to kick it off with literally the best semifinal, best matchup, just period. Best two-leg series between two really good teams. You had second and fourth place. Second and third place go at it against each other, which was Inter Milan and Barcelona in a 7-6 winning performance by Inter Milan to eliminate Barcelona, which I would probably say before going into the semifinals was the heavy favorite after Liverpool was eliminated.
Mm-hmm.
And Inter Milan, which I told everybody, they are no slouch. Do not underestimate this Inter Milan team. They can defend and they can score. This team is very much built for this Champions League, and they were quietly one of the better teams defensively for sure. But what a two-leg series. The first leg was a 3-3 draw, and the second leg was a 4-3 win in extra time. This Barcelona team, which, okay, earmuffs, Edward. Edward, if you're listening to this, earmuffs right now. I don't want you to hear anything that I'm about to say. This Barcelona team is so much fun to watch. Like, this is like one of the most entertaining teams I've ever seen from Barcelona's period. I can't believe Hansi Flick somehow figured this out. I can't believe Hansi Flick is the guy to begin with that brought Barcelona back. Like, he's using the academy. You know, it's not just Lamine Yamal. Like, it's not just Lamine Yamal. It's Corbassi, dog. Once again, Spain, you're set for life at the center back position because you got Corbassi, you got Marco Asensio. Hopefully, Raul Asensio. Hopefully, those allegations are gone. And Dean, you got a guy that chose Spain over the Netherlands. Like, literally, Dean Holzgen. Great Spanish jersey. That's all I gotta say. And then obviously you got Lamine Yamal. This kid is 17 years old. This is gonna piss everybody, maybe annoy people when, like, kind of similar to when everyone kept saying Juan Soto's only 21 years old. But the kid's 17 years old, already has a Euro under his belt, has won the Copa del Rey. Barcelona is at least on track to win La Liga. They're not going to win a Champions League. But in his second year as a professional player, you know, this is like the stuff you do in FIFA, not in real life. And this 17-year-old, because the thing is that about Lamine Yamal that I just want to point out is it's not like he's just part of the team. He's what the team builds through.
Yeah, he's a heartbeat. You know, it's been amazing to watch what Lamine Yamal has been able to do in such a young period. And I just got off this rant not too long ago about there will not be another version of this player. Man, Lamine Yamal might be the closest thing we've seen to that first coming of Messi, where it was obvious when Messi coming off the bench wearing his number 30 jersey was different. Like, you saw Lamine Yamal coming off the bench looking different immediately for Barcelona as a 16, 17-year-old. Now, not that much older, he is still making the biggest impact on the pitch from either team, and every time it's positive. He reminds me of Vinny last year when Vinny was dominating, and every time he touched the ball, you thought magic was going to happen. You know, Yann Sommer, the fact that he stood on his head to prevent Lamine Yamal's shots from going in. There was a couple that would have tucked themselves very nicely in the upper 90s if Yann Sommer had not been on his P's and Q's. That game, I've never seen anything where I'm just riveted to that level of fascination since, I shouldn't say never. I haven't seen it since the Belgium USA game in the 2010 World Cup.
I would go even earlier than that. The last World Cup final.
That's fair. Okay, fair. I still think this was more exciting.
No, yeah, it was still fun. Like, I mean, it was literally a back and forth. Like, it was, Barcelona. Yeah, I think Barcelona was the first one to score, and then
Yeah.
Inter scored, and then Inter took the lead. Then Barcelona got tied it up, then got the lead back. And I mean, Rafinha literally thought he won the game, and it was like it was one of those like he took the shot, he got the rebound, puts it back in the net. Takes his shirt off, thinks he just won he just clinched Barcelona to be back in the Champions League final. And then, Dumfries also, what a performance from Dumfries. I think he has an assist.
Yeah.
I think he had almost like a say in every single play, when every single goal that was scored for Inter Milan. But Dumfries finds his opportunity, gets a cross in, gets a little his teammate gets a tap in, and sends it into extra time. And then, at that point, both these teams are just duking it out. I mean, the goal was scored pretty early in extra time, and then Inter Milan does what Inter Milan does, and that is defend, defend, defend. And Jan Sommer does what he does, which is just playing amazing at goalkeeper.
Defend in a lot of the same ways, right?
So-
Look, you're talking about the best Swiss keeper of all times. He literally holds every record for Swiss goalkeepers at the national team level. He is that good. At what point in time are we going to finally look at Lautaro Martinez as a guy that needs to be feared in European tournaments? Because here he is again. He got the team off to the right start. Obviously, after that, it wasn't that great. But yet again, for Inter, he continues to lead the play. He continues to lead from the front. And I don't know how many more times we can see this where he's setting the tone up front. And if it wasn't for him driving at the back line time and time again, I honestly don't know if Inter has a leg to stand on in this one. I mean, this team thrives with Martinez up front, and he's almost an unsung hero in a lot of ways for this Inter Milan team, where you just people know about him, but do people know about him is the question. And it's like, you see what he's able to do, and it's whether it's on a stat line or watching the game, you see his impact, and it's evident, and it's noteworthy. And it's just a matter of this team flowing through him. And it's now that they understand that, now that Inzaghi Simeone understands that, it's obvious as the way this team plays. Everything flows into Lautaro Martinez around the box, and it's an impressive thing to see. Whether he scores or he passes off, or he just runs a dummy, any one of those things works out for the best for Inter. And it's been an impressive run for him. And I don't know, as you said, they can defend and they can attack, and that attack is now very focused. And that's the scary thing for Inter. If they're a focused attack, that's a tough thing to stop. If you have to key in on one guy, and there's three other guys out there that can score at any point in time, Marcus Thuram being one of them. Good luck trying to figure that out.
I mean, not only that, but their wing play. I mean, talk about Dumfries. I mean, the guy was. I mean, if
another Ajax player, by the way, Denzel Dumfries.
Exactly, man. Like, it's impressive. Yeah. It really is, man. Like, this team is just in its own. Like that's why I kept telling people, like, don't underestimate this Inter Milan team. This team is no slouch. This team is going to do something here, and I think you want to talk about a team with a chip on their shoulder. It's Inter Milan, like just the team itself. Lautaro Martinez, prime example, a guy that wasn't even in last year's Copa America was not even deemed worthy of being a starter for the team, but as soon as his name was called, I mean, literally was the leading goal scorer for the whole tournament. So it's just embedded in these guys' mentality. When you think about the Milan teams, Inter Milan was actually the first team to win a trophy, ending the Juventus run. This was the team that was getting back in their groove, finding their identity again. And they've changed coaches. When Conte left because of the whole financial struggles that Inter Milan was going to be facing, didn't become a factor. This team has been very strong, even in the Serie A. Like they're one of the standards right now in Italy, despite all the drama that comes into play with them. I mean, some people wrote them off when they, let Andre Onana ship away to Manchester United, and it turned out to be the best business decision they ever made. So this team has a lot to prove to themselves. They were in a final not that long ago in the Champions League. Obviously, they had to go up against Manchester City. But yeah, I think that they it's like a good solid team with the right amount of experience also mixed in. Like this team is everything that you should say is poised to win a Champions League.
Yeah, and by the way, let's not forget that there's just a guy by the name of Matteo De Vrij back there. That is, or sorry, Stefan De Vrij. My bad, not Matteo. Stefan De Vrij, who is still, when it comes to defenders, the guy that you hate to deal with if you're an opposing team. And if he's on your team, you're like, this is pretty nice. Like he's not he was the guy with the Delicts and the Ajax teams that you're just like, that guy's solid on so many different levels. You question how a team like Inter got him at that time. Because at that time, Inter was not Inter today or Inter 10 years ago with Materazzi and all that team. Like, this was a different Inter team, and it was not a successful team, and they got one of the best defenders from that young Ajax team. And that's the part you're just like, you look at it and you're like, man, how is that possible? And you still see him dominating. Now you see him dominating on a European stage. It's been an interesting ride from the defensive standpoint. Obviously, you mentioned Denzel Dumfries, but let's not forget the ability for Dumfries to go forward and attack as well as defend is built by this partner next to him, which is where De Vrij comes in and Acerbi comes in. Acerbi. Anyways, yeah, scored a goal, but also comes in whether he's playing on the wing or playing in the center. It's there's so many different pieces of that. And then there's still Benjamin Pavard, who somehow is still floating around out there on top tier teams in Italy. And you just continue to watch him go to teams and those teams win. So maybe there's something to say from Benjamin Pavard on the bench. I don't know. Maybe he's a lucky charm.
No, yeah. But yeah, applause to Inter Milan and Barcelona. I mean, that was the best game, I think, for a lot of people that haven't seen in a long time. I mean, I'm going all the way back to the World Cup final between France and Argentina. PSG beating Arsenal 3-1. The first leg was a 1-0 win in London, and then Parc des Princes ends up getting the final 2-1 victory for them to secure their fate. Arsenal, and even though Kelcey was trying to, I think Kelcey on the bonus round was trying to gaslight me. I think that's what the kids are saying these days. When he's like, "Oh yeah, look, Arsenal's on the cusp of being in the Champions League final," and this team, I'm like, people don't understand. Like, supporting Arsenal is not an easy thing to do, and I think Arsenal has come great strides over the years. You have a great center back like Gabriel. You have William Saliba, which right now Arsenal, I think, are trying to secure him for a long-term contract because Real Madrid's trying to get him, which I would prefer him staying at Arsenal because I think Real Madrid, they're doing so many changes that I don't think Saliba's the right guy for that. But let's be honest, that guy's like the best center back right now. The best young center back.
Yeah.
But the fullbacks, I mean, you can probably intertwine, but I think Timber's been good. Goalkeeper.
Wait, are you not a fan of Luis Kelly?
No, I love Luis Kelly.
Oh, okay. Hold on. You said the fullbacks, whatever, and I was like, hold on.
No. I'm like,
pause for a second.
It's just been so madly inconsistent over the years, where it's been like, there was one point where someone made me believe in Tomiyasu. It's just, which he's not terrible. He just can't stay healthy.
I was gonna say, hold on now. He is a solid player, but he's not an exceptional player, but he's a solid player.
He's good. He just can't. He just doesn't stay healthy. I mean, coming off the bench, he's great. But no, you got Luis Kelly, who I think has really lived up. Has really stepped up. Timber. When he's healthy, he's actually really good. which we're seeing that right now because he's healthy. Look, I'm not sold on Raya. I'm really not. I know there's some people that do like him. Maybe it's just because like I was really believing in what's his name, Ramsdale.
Mm.
And I don't think I don't think they're any better. I think they're basically carbon copies of each other. So, but I mean, David Raya isn't terrible, is what I'm saying. He's not terrible, but I don't know. I feel like I wouldn't be mad if a certain world class goalkeeper just became available, and I'm like, let's go get that guy. You know, is all I'm saying.
Oh, I mean, Neto is not that world class goalkeeper for you guys.
Okay. Also, I hate the fact that Szczesny's winning trophies, and I've hated that guy for so many years.
Oh man, I don't think I've ever got that type of reaction from you before.
At midfield, I mean Declan Rice. I think he's a good player, solid, maybe a bit overpriced, but I mean the guy did score 2 free kicks, um, in the same game.
And never again.
The criticism for Odegaard. Okay, I'm gonna defend Odegaard because I just don't think people understand what Odegaard is. Odegaard is gonna be a pass first guy.
Yes.
That's just what he's embedded. That's in his DNA. He's not gonna take the shot.
No.
Does he need to learn how to take the shot? Yes. Because he had so many opportunities. Okay, maybe not so many, but he had a lot of crucial opportunities where he could have just put one in the back of the net, or at least attempted to put one in the back of the net instead of just pass. Because the most infuriating thing of this whole thing was they were on the final third. They just needed to just have someone take a shot, and no one took a shot. Honestly, this PSG game could have easily have been a win for Arsenal. But it didn't because they didn't take the risk. No one took the risk of taking a shot because, unfortunately, we don't have a fucking 9.
That is very true.
Like, Saka was great. And yeah, Saka, the second shot attempt that after he scored the goal, and then it looked like it would have been a really easy tapper. He didn't make it. But I think, unfortunately, like, and I don't to me, I don't expect Saka to score goals. I expect him to create opportunities. If he can score some goals, I mean, that's great as well. All in all, Martinelli, I mean, I don't think he's terrible. I think he's really good, even though a lot of Arsenal fans don't tend to like him too much. It's just you guys are trying to get me to buy in that Mikel Merino could play the 9. You guys are trying to tell me that Havertz can play the 9. These guys are not 9s. They're not. Like, Havertz would essentially, if you guys wanted Havertz so bad, he would be starting over Odegaard. You know, Marino should be in the midfield. He is a midfielder. That's literally what he was in Real Sociedad. You guys don't have a fucking 9. That's like the one thing that all Arsenal fans have been hoping for every single transfer window. The January transfer is this where we're gonna finally get Isak. All these things I've been hearing every single year. Oh yeah, we're gonna go get somebody. We're gonna get somebody, and you don't get anybody. This is where the games where you needed it, and unfortunately, it just didn't happen. I guess we got to talk about the other team though that eliminated Arsenal, which is PSG. Who
do we have to?
Yeah, we kind of do. But this team is humming. I think this team has been very good. I mean, their run to the final has been pretty impressive as well. But PSG, yeah, things are clicking for them. This team looks very much like a team. Like I think the real person to look at to thank for all this is Luis Enrique. Me and Edward, we talked about it when we were talking about like the final stretch of matches for all the leagues, but Luis Enrique just I don't think we gave him enough flowers. I mean, he was the last coach to win a treble with Barcelona, and was part of that epic was the coach I believe for that big comeback against PSG as a matter of fact, and the guy is a good coach. I mean, he won the Euro with Spain, and now he's here with PSG, and he looks like a very much a good coach.
Yeah, it's hard.
Wait, was he the coach for the Euro?
I believe he was Luis Enrique.
Yeah,
I believe so. I might be wrong though. Hang on. Um, 2000. Yeah, 2020, 2022, Spain. Yeah,
Okay, so
yeah. He was their Euros coach. Um, no, he as far as a manager goes, he's changed what PSG looks like. Obviously, losing Mbappé, you knew there was going to be changes. But we talked about this last year before Mbappé left PSG. It almost felt like there were times when he wasn't on the pitch that this team looked better. And this year, Paris looked better as a team, as a whole team, without having Mbappe on the pitch. And that feels blasphemous just saying it out loud. But after seeing what Real Madrid did with Mbappe on the pitch, you're kind of like, oh, maybe there's something to this. And what Luis Enrique was able to do as far as build a cohesive unit going forward, I think that was successful and why they were so good this year. I mean, what they were able to do this Champions League run, obviously they're going to do what they do in Ligue 1, but in Europe is where PSG really cuts their teeth. And in Europe this year, they have beaten some of the top teams to get there. And it's been a situation where you're like, man, I don't know what this team's ready to do to us, but they're going to do something, and then they're either going to grind you out. I jokingly said earlier, PSG doesn't win 1-0 games. Well, they won 1-0 game this season, and that was against Liverpool, which helped them progress further into the tournament in that first round. And it's a situation where they had to fight to get in to the knockout stage. And then when they were in the knockout stage, it clicked for them. It was correct. And now here they are in another Champions League final. But this time, it's different than the other PSG teams, because this PSG team does feel like they can do anything to get a victory. They don't just have to just attack like the old teams did. This team feels like they can grind it out and, pip a goal out of nowhere, or go and score 3 goals while the other team scores 2. It feels like that type of PSG team where they can go either way. But yeah, it's been an interesting ride for Luis Enrique now that he's at PSG, and 3 years into his job, 2.5 years into his job. It's pretty good run so far.
Yeah, no, I think so. I think once again, props to Luis Enrique. I think weirdly enough, I think it is the fact that Mbappe's gone. I think this team looks so much better without Mbappe, which is crazy to think that this team dominated Ligue 1. But I mean, obviously, we said what we said about this team when they were talking about when they were undefeated. It's not necessarily for them. I guess not a very impressive feat when we were talking about Ligue 1, but still a really good team, really strong nucleus. I mean, people are giving shouts to Ousmane Dembele to be potentially the Ballon d'Or winner. I don't know about that, but I mean,
it feels a little too much, but all right.
But I mean, also the guys that are on this team. Fabian Ruiz scores his first Champions League goal. A guy that's been has been years playing for Napoli, and is now made the move to PSG, and he's looked really good. Marquinhos, that guy's stayed put at PSG, and I believe he's just now a staple on that team. Donnarumma, I mean, this is his villain arc, right? The guy leaving his boyhood club of AC Milan for the money, and now had probably undoubtedly a very solid performance for a goalkeeper against Arsenal. Obviously, it's not Jan Sommer levels, but still a very impressive performance on his part. Once he finally did become the PSG goalkeeper, because obviously he was kind of competing with Keylor Navas for a while, but this is now his job. And then Duje,
Desiree Duje, number 14. He's the striker. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, this guy, no one knew about this guy.
Yeah.
And they put him on the lineup one day, and they're like, all right, I guess this is our guy. And then, of course, we can't forget about the Georgian Messi.
I'm ready for this one.
Not gonna try.
I used to have this down, and I don't know if I can do it again. So I'm not gonna try either.
Let me see. I'll try.
I can say this much. I can say Kvaratskhelia. That's his first name. Kvaratskhelia. Kvaratskhelia, I think is what it is. Kvaratskhelia is, I think, how you say it.
Kvaratskhelia. Yeah, that's a name. Let me see is there like a phonetic?
I don't know. I
Yeah,
want the phonetics of it.
the phonetic doesn't help.
Yeah,
Anyways,
I think it's Kvaratskhelia.
Kvaratskhelia, I think that's what I've heard. Yeah, Kvaratskhelia, who told Napoli, "I want out of here," and he said, "I don't like." He's like, "I don't care what it takes, but get me out of here." Goes to PSG. Everybody called him an idiot to go to PSG. He's like, "You're not gonna win anything there," and since coming over, has been such a crucial piece of this team. Um, the dude's a dog. The guy fights guy fights every day like he's still in Georgia. The country, not the state. But yeah, I think that this team is just they're just clicking at the right time. I mean, Vitinha is another good player on that team. Yeah,
Barcola is still a talented player.
I hate Barcola, but he's really good.
Yeah.
And I say that out of respect. But
I mean, you also left out Hakimi and Kimpembe, who by themselves are fantastic.
Hakimi
defenders.
was important in that match against Arsenal. He did a really good job and obviously also bag a goal himself. Yeah, I think he bagged the winner.
Sounds correct.
I think he bagged the winner. But
well, then you also have Lucas on the other side, Lucas Hernandez. So this team is full of studs. Like PSG doesn't slouch when it comes to having their own studs.
Also, mostly French.
French, Italian, yeah. Couple of things dropped in between, but
I only point that out because there's not many teams that from their home league have players from that home nation.
Yeah, the closest I think is Bayern in Germany, or most German teams are mostly German.
Yeah, well, that's because of rules that they have put in place. But I mean, like Real Madrid, I think there's like one Spanish guy on the team, and that was Asensio.
Yeah, I think that's correct.
Yeah, so
they got like 7 backing up everybody, but they just come along just to meet their squad requirements.
Yeah. So yeah,
they're kids from the training grounds.
Look at Inter Milan. I think there's some Italian players on.
There's like 3 Italian players that play on that team, and that's it.
So yeah, there you go. But yeah, PSG they've just been it just clicked for them after they were able to get in that final into that knockout playing round. I forgot who they had to beat in the play. Actually, they beat the crap out of Lille. As soon as they did that, they were like, "All right, we good. We got this."
Yeah, they smashed Lille.
They're like, "All right, guys, we know who we are. Let's start winning some games."
It is so true though. That PSG team, it's just like they flipped the switch at the right time, and you always talk about good teams being able to flip a switch. It takes time sometimes with these, especially in football, where you have guys coming in and out of rosters year after year after year, and even more so every 6 months. It gets even crazier. I mean, we just talked about Kvaratskhelia coming in. He was one of the late transfers out of the summer transfer window as well, where he came in and it was kind of a shock. Last minute deal almost in a lot of ways that he ends up at PSG. We knew he was leaving, but we didn't know where he was going to be. And for that to happen the way it did, and he came in, and it did take some time to integrate him. But once he was integrated is when you saw PSG turn it around in the Champions League level, where they were able to attack, they were able to do things. And you saw Ousmane Dembele pick it back up. You saw these guys, Vitinha, they started playing off each other at a different level that they had previously. So this PSG team is no joke. For their own right. And that's what's scary is they might have just gotten better when they needed to at the end of the season. And that's good luck everybody else. It's kind of how that ends up at.
Who is that guy?